Welcome to the powerofvoices.com. This is the Comedy Hour. It's AnnaMarie, and my guest tonight is the incredible, I am so honored, Rolanda Watts. Rolanda,
Hey,
look at you.
is this when all the applause comes up?
Yes.
When you like dub it in?
Yeah, the roar of the crowd. Yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
I was really last minute to let people know. Last minute I just threw it out there and I'd asked Rolanda if she would come on the show, and she said, "Sure, give me a Tuesday." And I went, "Well, what about this Tuesday?" And I never thought you would say, "Okay." So
Well, I never thought you would say this Tuesday.
yeah. Well, I know in LA that, one of the things is just go for it. Because what's the worst I've learned people can say is no.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things about life.
Or sometimes the best thing people can say is no.
Oh, I like that thought. Yes.
In Hollywood?
Yeah. As I'm new out here.
Ain't all money good money.
Oh, I like that too. I got a feeling I'm gonna be schooled tonight on the way life should be according to an experienced soul. Because reading everything, this is a comedy hour, and I just want to comment on that. Is you've come from so many different venues.
That it's hilarious.
It is because it's incredible where, what people will say to me, AnnaMarie, you just got to focus on one thing. And I'm like looking at everything that, you're an actress, a producer, a voiceover artist, the announcer, and you were the announcer on Judge, and I mean, who doesn't know that? Joe Brown.
On the next Judge Joe.
Yeah, and now you're doing divorce court.
On divorce court today.
Yes, you're even the professor. Is it Weissman? I want to get his name right.
Hello, George. Would you
Yeah.
like to go to the museum?
Yeah, and I'm Curious George.
Yeah.
So, and also you were a TV anchor as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you actually won an award for the expose you did on your live thing on the train crash.
Yeah.
And, I always wanted to ask.
I'm known for live TV. Yeah.
So at any given time, like where most people say, I've heard people say that being in front of people and speaking for some people is a fear worse than death. Yes. There was a comedian that was talking about this, that some people, public speaking is a fear worse than death.
I'm so sorry they feel that way.
Right. It's
That's so sad because I find it exhilarating.
Isn't it?
I love being in front of people running my mouth.
Wait, were you always like that?
Always. They used to call me the social secretary in grade school because I just wanted to talk to everybody. One of the things I really do like about my life is that I love people. And ever since I was a little kid, I was speaking in complete sentences at 11 months. And when I go home and people remember me as a little kid, they used to remember, they say, Rolanda used to come to our house and we say, Rolanda, would you like some juice? And I would go, no, I would like Coca-Cola with ice, please. I had this deep little voice. I was very determined. I spoke in full sentences because my mother was a tough woman. She was a career woman. My mother had 2 undergraduate degrees, a doctorate. She was not having it. So she was not about whining. So what do you want?
Wow.
It went about, I was like, juice, please.
Wow.
No, and that's really how I started. So, and also, I learned to read at 3, and it was really because I was so fascinated with stories. I fell in love with Go Dog Go. My dad had a convertible, and I read that. I saw the pictures in the book, and and I thought maybe I could take my dad's convertible with my Boxer Apache, and we could escape. It was like I was a precocious little kid, but it was always about loving being able to tell stories is really where it all started.
Well, you grew up
how
around
connected.
that as you spoke, and you called your auntie.
Yeah, Auntie Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's a Southern thing that we sit on the porch. I always used to say when I did my talk show in the 90s, from 93 to 98, one of the things I used to always say is that talk shows are the modern day clotheslines. Down south, we'd hang up clothes and tell the same old stories they talk about, or sit on the porch and tell the same stories on the talk shows.
Stoops.
But it's all about whether I'm doing news, as many people know me in, or whether I'm doing sitcoms, dramas, or whatever, or radio shows or podcasts, or telling my novel, or even stand up being a comic. the one common thread is that it's all storytelling. Now, listen, they used to say you were schizophrenic. Now they say it's multiple streams of income.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Out in the
Opinion now, just not your research.
But they weren't allowed to go. So one girl sat there, and because her boyfriend.
And the boys liked you,
yeah,
too.
always. Show Daddy how pretty you look.
Mm.
Working a function.
Smart. Whether it's books or through comedy, which is stories also. If there are ways to really embark on what's happening in the world, everybody was there. Queen Latifah, Erica Alexander, I mean, all of her, but Wendell James and Omarosa, Norway, all these folks were up in there. So television was taping it. I mean, taping it. Listen to me, that's how old I am. Videoing it. And an actor. Keep your stuff sharp. People think they're going to have everything. They don't want to do the work. He goes, bada bing, bada boom.
He said, they don't listen.
Call it the gym. And that's what we do. We go to Marty's over there, or just off of La Brea, or we might go to Flappers, or we might go over to the Cat and Fiddle in Hollywood. If you go on what is it called? There's a place where you can go online and look up all the open mics, all that you can do right after work. Go in there and get your muscles going, so that you can keep your craft. You're really going.
It was really because the idea of giving advice as far as comedy goes, and I have a lot of young comedians that listen to the show. I'm from Boston, so of course at their time, I have a few friends on Night Owls who will stay up and listen to it. And what they say is the knowledge that they've gotten, because a lot of the seasoned comedians that have graced my show educate, and they all say the same thing. It's like, first of all, you come out to L.A. and you don't have a plan, and they'll say they want to be famous, but they won't say as far as what. And they say, well, I'm going to be a comedian because people told me I was funny when I was younger. And the comedians go, oh, we love that, because once you get into the school of comedy and you're out there in the trenches, I guess the story I love with the Apollo of how they actually, it's like a thing where you get booed and then you have to walk through the crowd.
Oh, like the Crow's Nest.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Crow's Nest. You have to be really good. But I'm going to tell you, and see, that's the other thing. Roll through there. You can also see where there are performances, but you can also see where there's a column for open mic nights. And every single day of the week, starting at like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Right. And what people don't understand about this is you'll see.
You haven't been single in 32 years.
I got to say that is, nobody loves you like you do. But
yeah, and I listen, and I take my time. I've got this 20 minutes of foreplay down pat.
Pretty good, huh? Well, that's the other thing too. It's like the whole thing about dating in the interim. It's like I was telling her that the young men that want to just hi, how you doing? Let's have a drink, and then I'm like, could you put your junk away? Like.
No, yeah, listen, I have great sex with myself. I had such great sex with myself last week that I decided to myself a new car. Is that kinky and a
right?
It's a church.
That's where my grandparents met. At church.
On social media.
Church.
That was social media.
It was.
That's what I'm talking about.
Get the hell out of the house once a week. Go meet these other people.
That's right.
Look good for about an hour. Mm-hmm. And then I used to say that. Why does everybody want to kill everybody in the parking lot the minute they get out of church? All these you're shaking hands. Son of a bitch, I saw you pulling my pocket spot. Peace be with you. Yeah, I'll catch your ass when you're back out there.
I'm going to hashtag you in a minute.
Yeah, right? And I don't know about you, but all of the social media that's out there today, like my friends and I talk about, can you imagine if they had fucking cameras when we were in?
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
The stuff that somebody could have got on film that would follow you forever. Oh, you young people, keep it up. Let me tell you, because you go for a job, that's really like what's happening where the employer is like, okay, I got their name. Let's look at their Facebook.
But see, here's the thing. If you're the employer and a young person comes in doing the same stuff you did and you see it, what are you going to do? Not hire them?
Well, it depends on how extreme what they're posting is.
You could build a very close relationship with that employee.
A whole different way.
Hey, you got some?
Hey, I was going to, yeah, right. Hey, we got the Harvard grad. Because, yeah, but you see how many followers? This guy over here.
Want to go to Janice's closet?
Yeah. And it really is. I mean, you must have people that work your social media pages for you.
No, I do all my own.
You do all. That's a lot of work, Rolanda.
Yeah, it is. But I want my own voice there. Nobody can have my voice.
I like that.
Nobody can have my voice. And you know what? I was in doing social media long before a lot of people were into it. When I came here in 1998, I was selling people their own names.com.
Get out of town.
Mm-hmm. I was selling people their own websites. And people were like, why do I?
That's right. And there's a lot to be said about that because you have that you have that ability to have what do they call people that have the you're very educated. What is the word that I want? That you have that ability to see things beyond and that insight or that innovative mind that you are so far ahead of everything.
I don't know. Sometimes you're very much by yourself when you're ahead of things. You know, sometimes you don't get to go with the crowd when everybody's celebrating and everybody's lifting the person about it because you were there already and there's no, you don't get to be part of the celebration. That's part of what being an innovator is. Entrepreneur and an innovator are not the same thing. It is about thinking. It is about creating. It is when nothing is
talk.
Yeah, well.
Like what you said about being that way since you were a kid. I could hold at 11 years old to hold the attention of adults and have that feedback. When did you? I mean, you right away knew you wanted to go into the industry, like you said, the idea of talking, the idea of journalism, the idea of writing.
But I got to go back and tell her how much she was an influence on my storytelling ability. Of the things, and that's where art comes in. I believe. I think that's the beauty of art and expression, and writing is deliriously silly, but they have poignant meaning. And I think that's the craft of a comedian and a comic is to make brilliant laser focus. And sometimes I'm really in there, really negotiating deals, and I will
have a family of funny. And it's true what you said there. And I had put on 13 pounds working in this training program.
And they would have had their 60th anniversary this year, as a matter of fact. And they were the funniest story that will make you laugh. That is so important, too, because you line
out of my nose. And he goes, that's such a compliment. I've never quite heard that. Yeah. Which one would you keep? I said, I can make people. I will never give up my humor.
That's right. I want to blasphemize her quote, but to the effect of, do what you're going to do and do it with some style.
Yes, she was ever so gracious to bring this and also autograph it. But I read what this was about. Also, it's an interracial, okay?
Called a romance suspense. That's what Amazon is calling it. But it's one of them juicy ones.
This is a big...
of North Carolina and the ugliness of nature when you have to live through a hurricane. How would all of that happen to clash? She's going to get a second chance at her first love. Well, it's hot. It's juicy. Great sex
I have
scenes.
to read it because, people laugh about the fact that I'll say reading is hot.
Look, I'm a journalist in TV. I understand people's attention span. So I wrote it so you will not be able to put it down. I was also my favorite beach reading book. And there are a lot of people who are listening who are like, God, you want somebody to tell you that? I'm telling you.
Telling a story is you don't know who's going to benefit from your truth.
That's right. Somebody's waiting to be healed because your story is waiting to be told.
And the movie?
I know. Well,
come on now.
Well, you know something? It's so funny because I've always thought about this book.
Do you need a hurricane survival kit?
Hostage situations in there.
It's like, do you get to a certain point where it's like, I really don't want to deal with this shit anymore?
Like dating?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Does it become like...
Yeah, absolutely.
Also going to be having